Hey, this is Sky. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm in the office, taking care of business, mind, body, and soul. Let's talk about being broken and weak. How many of you out there are broken and weak? I can happily say I no longer am. I have been before. There's different degrees of it, of course. It can be like a bottomless pit, but it's like a winding road down it. So there's different levels of how broken you are, how weak you are. But we see it across all walks of society. You don't have to be homeless to be broken and weak. You can be rich and be broken and weak also. There's all kinds of trauma that people hold on to. And what baffles me, I've philosophized on this before, and I haven't come up with too much of an answer yet. It's confusing within myself and with others, looking at others. Why people spend so much energy defending their weaknesses, defending how broken they are, why they're broken. Some people are crazy enough to even defend who broke them. If you happen to have been broken by someone, and you ever go and hear a story about somebody, someone's ex-wife, and how horrible she was, and then you say, well, gosh, what a cunt bitch, and then they want to fight you. Oh, don't talk about my ex that way. You're like, jeez, dude. I know what it's like to feel wounded. Say, for example, if you've ever had a broken bone or had a large cut, laceration of some kind, ever got stabbed or something. I've been stabbed. I've been hit in the chest with a baseball bat. That hurt, broke my ribs. When you have an injury, maybe you had a broken foot, you want to guard that injury. You don't want someone making a fast move, poking, on a broken arm that you have. You want to, and it's natural. An animal will do this, will naturally guard an injury. If you bring a dog that's been hit by a car to the vet, it's very often that the dog might try to bite the vet if it goes to grab the hurt leg. So I know what it's like to feel that way, to feel like you have to stay guarded because you're hurt, you're broken. Life was tough for me, so that's why I'm so hard. And all that is you're a wounded animal who's trying to protect himself, protect his wounds, protect his trauma. Some people complain about this, and it's kind of a weird complaint, but they say that you should respect and understand my trauma. Nobody has to care about your trauma. And that's just the cold world. You could be having the most rotten day, and you could be having the most rotten life. Nobody has to care. You can't expect people to care. It's just it's a self-sabotage. You're just gonna make things worse for yourself if you have that kind of expectation. That expectation is gonna injure you even further. In this naive, childlike notion that other people are going to alter their survival to somehow fit yours because yours isn't going well. It's a dog-eat-dog world, man. We're all fighting against this planet that's trying to kill us, trying to survive. The trick with healing is mustering up courage. It takes a lot of courage to accept how fucked up you are, to accept that there's things that are really wrong with you that you have to change. No matter what, you're going to have to figure out how to change. And it doesn't feel good to accept that because it may mean that most of the shit that went wrong in your life is actually your fault. I had that realization. It's hard to play a victim when you realize that most of the shit in your life is your fault. And I can't say, well, just because I was born homeless and lived in apartment projects when I was a kid and lived in ghettos through most of my young adult life until my mid-30s, and I can't blame any of that on society, on capitalism, on the president, on the cops, on my parents, on anyone. You have to play the hand that you're dealt. That's the game. Anybody who plays poker knows that. You don't win on the first hand. The dealer didn't deal you a royal flush. You throw the cards down and say, fuck the system. This casino's rigged. That's not how poker's played. That's not how life's played. So you got to have courage to stand up to yourself, to stand up to the fucked up shit, and to change. And that's going to be a battle. You might be battling mental illness. You might be battling physical health problems. You might be battling an entire legal system. Life is about choice. And for people that are stuck on the victimhood mentality, if you happen to find yourself on a dinghy, a little rubber boat, out in the middle of the ocean and the seas are choppy, it doesn't matter how you got there. It doesn't matter if you were pushed off some larger boat, if somebody dropped you off into the ocean without it. It doesn't matter how you got there. All that matters is that you're there, and what are you going to do about it? So you got raped, you got robbed, you got shot. I know a guy who has no legs. You think he wants that? This motherfucker has to figure out how to move forward in life with no legs. And he's done a great job for himself. A lot of us, I think, we'd probably kill ourselves. Just give up, like pussies. He didn't give up. He has a life you probably dream about. And overcame obstacles that most of us couldn't even imagine overcoming. So we have to look at reality and get rid of this supposed to shit, this how life was supposed to be. I know what it's like to drag your heels on that and to use that as an excuse to continue to get drunk, to continue to sit there like some lazy idiot, not moving forward in life, to watch another year go by and nothing has changed with you. Attachment is a root of suffering, and Buddhists talk about that. Don't get attached to a broken version of yourself. Be willing to let that self die and to be reborn like the phoenix out of the ashes. I just wonder why people are so attached to their weakness and to the broken aspects of themselves. Because it's easy to get rid of stuff that you don't want. You can easily get rid of shit you don't want. If you don't want something, you get rid of it. How many of you get rid of crap in your house that you don't want or whatever? But it's hard to get rid of old habits, I guess. It's hard to get rid of security blanket, and some people use their trauma like a security blanket. Like they somehow think that attachment to being broken is somehow keeping them safe. But that's just the mentality of that same little kid or whoever, that broken individual in you. It's still in there, wounded, trying to navigate. Your first step may be to go inside your mind, find that inner child, and heal them. That may be the first step. Food for thought.